back in the regular session. No decisions were made during the executive session. And I believe we're to old business.
Fire chief. We have one application.
Okay. This is the only time I ever drink coffee is when I'm it makes me sick.
Huh? Somebody's man.
So go check it's on online. Morning, Dave. Okay, everybody's had a chance to look over the application for countywide fire chief. We only received one. I'll make a motion to accept this application.
Second.
Have we discussed wages or anything on this?
We have not.
Shouldn't we be doing this?
We had a couple of brief discussions about wages and then just kind of let it lie. So there was not a wage attached to this job description yet.
Well, I don't know if I can go along with it until we have a wage. I want to know what it's going to cost us.
And
I mean,
that's
are we
fine.
going to pay an hourly wage? Are we going to pay a monthly wage? Is he going to have a time clock? We're going to check in, find out how many hours it's going to take to do this job? I mean,
Well, what we could do is we could table the motion and look into those issues in regards to what the pay is going to be, what the anticipated additional hours for covering both Bird City and St. Francis will be in the county-wide.
is St. Francis and Bird City going to pay a little bit?
In regards to the, well, this is a
Wages?
county position.
Yeah.
This is county.
Okay. So when he does paperwork for the cities, if there's a city fire, that's all on them?
I would assume it should be.
I think that's, I mean, it's kind of a part of the, that's where you get into a fuzzy area, because that has to be reported.
Separately, yeah.
Or is it reported as a county?
Well, I think it's reported as a county, I think.
What
Well,
if-
not actually.
What if
I'm
I
not,
were-
I'm not
No, no,
against
no.
Danny, please.
Right. But I see your point. It might be better to, as Leslie suggested, table it until we can have a meeting with Dan. I think, can we
Exactly.
go ahead and accept the application and just put it on hold basically until we can have a just, yeah,
Yeah, well, basically what I would do is like I said, table it.
okay.
And then set a time to meet with him and find out what the additional duties are and negotiate the salary to see what can and cannot be done.
Because I do know it's important to get those paperwork in to the
True.
state. Because if you, down the road, if you need a grant for a new fire truck, or if you don't have your paperwork done, you're probably not gonna get it.
Okay, so we'll table the motion and this until the next meeting, and sometime between now and then, we'll sit down and visit with him. He was pretty open, even when he came in here the first time, he wasn't very specific about receiving any pay. It just wasn't one of his concerns.
Okay.
So, okay, we will do that. I do have one little bit of new business. I attended the hospital board meeting yesterday afternoon, and that is a 7-person board, and one of the 7 has she left the hospital board and now is the clinic manager. So she had to get off the hospital board, so that leaves one opening for the hospital board. They did indicate to me that they wish to remain at 7. So I guess we'll advertise for 2 weeks. And I did have a number of people come up to me wanting to know how to get on the board. Maybe there'll be some more interest generated this time. So if we can get that going.
Same as always.
Okay, correspondence and information.
Resolution 1718, it's a resolution to modify reasonable fees to be charged to persons for accessing and/or copying open public records, hereby replacing Resolution 85. It's basically updating the fees. Or the last one was done in 1985, so
Okay.
I have any forms that Leslie's approved people to fill out when asking for.
This way we'll have better documentation in regards to what information is being asked for and why it is being asked for, so that it can be referred to.
How much were the rate changes? Pretty small amounts.
I hope if we have to research something, it's $28 an hour. And it's broken down quarter hour minimum. But the copy fee's the same.
So we need a motion to replace Resolution 8503 with Resolution 1718.
Correct.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Treasure bond for Dolores that needs to be signed.
What's this for?
It's like the clerk's bond. I'm not sure. That's one. Well, I think the board has one too.
Wow, it's $30,000.
It's the most here. she's on 6, so what do you want to table?
Yeah, I don't fully understand it. I know it's about $30,000 sounds pretty steep. Is it paid annually?
It's insurance.
It's a surety bond, so it's
Yeah,
like
basically, if
insurance.
there's any wrongdoing, then you can go back on the bond to be reimbursed. But she hasn't signed it yet,
And she's not here today, so I
so
think maybe
I don't
we'll
think we can
table it
take any
until.
action.
So this is kind of like a premium then?
Honestly, don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Basically, when anyone is in a fiduciary capacity, like Doris, where she is dealing with public monies, or someone else's monies, so to speak, then what is usually required is that they have to post a bond so that if any of those monies are misappropriated, then you can go back on the bond for any sort of reparation to be paid back or something of that nature. It is kind of like an insurance, but it's more of a one-time, here's the limit on this that you can get type of situation. Does that explain it?
But do we pay this each year?
That's an annual.
It's an annual.
So it's a premium.
And we have others that are bonded.
Yeah,
Right.
I believe the board is.
And-
Well, and notaries have to do it. Trustees of trusts have to do it. Guardians have,
Let's table this until Dolores can be here and sign it, and maybe she can explain it to where it makes good sense.
Next thing, our shredder back here is met its end of life. I had High Plains Office Supply give us a quote for $1,940 basically. I found the same thing on Amazon for $1,356. But if something happens to it, I don't know whether he'll
Probably not.
work on it or not.
Who knew a shredder could cost that much money?
But this one back here is pretty old. I mean,
Yeah, it's huge.
but it has, there's some center teeth or whatever you want to call it. But I think that are stripped out because they don't turn anymore half the time. So all it does is jam up.
How about a 55-gallon barrel?
Or goat.
There's some first graders with scissors.
I so move that we get it.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Purchase your.
Health officer, did you have a chance?
Yes, I did. I actually spoke with Dr. Walls yesterday afternoon, and he accepted the position, so.
I found out, what is it, Tuesday? When people go to meetings and they do not stay overnight, if their lunch, like if they get lunch or breakfast or supper or whatever, that has to be paid back through payroll.
Through a per diem type situation?
Like when we pay $15 per meal, the IRS says you have to pay that back. If they don't stay overnight, you have to pay that back through payroll, and then taxes are taken out of that.
Oh, really?
So you're going to start seeing that in payroll on that. Now, if they stay overnight, we can do it the way we were doing it.
What crazy rule?
Well, apparently some city was paying employees, slipping them extra money by saying they were, so they cut that.
Okay.
And then Ryan sent a text wanting to say that
This was tomorrow. I found out.
there will be a full 2-day exercise next Tuesday and Wednesday with county and GSV in order to meet new Medicare requirements.
Okay. All right, Dave, I think we're ready for you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
I don't have anything special, but I want to keep you informed as to the airport and what we've done and what's coming up.
Okay.
And so anyway, the FAA was here on Tuesday. There was 3 guys from the FAA. One is the guy that we communicate a lot with in Kansas City. His name is Jason Knipp. All of the grant stuff and everything goes through them, and so they came out, I think, mainly they call it just an airport tour. They stopped at Goodland and Atwood and here. I think they wanted to see where their money is going.
Make sure your
and
money's still there.
make sure it's being spent on what we're telling them it is, which is good. So it was good to meet them. They didn't have any, words of criticism or anything, so everything must have been okay with them. So, and we do have a good relationship with the FAA and with the state for these projects, and we try to make sure that all the paperwork, everything is done, properly the way it is. And,
Right, when you're dealing with a
right.
federal entity.
Well, yeah, I mean, with anybody as far as it goes, but when you got the FAA in it, you want to have it just your T's crossed, your I's dotted anyway. And there was we try to take care of things, just so you know. There's we get an invoice from the state of Kansas, from the KDHE. If there's any construction that goes on, there's a water permit that has to be sent in every year. It's a $60 permit, so we do that through the airport, and so that you guys have confidence in us that things are being done, and hopefully you don't have to worry about it, but you need to know what we're doing even at that. This year, of course, the AWAS celiometer has been installed, is working great. You knew about this, I know. And the beacon was just installed 2 days ago. So it's up, the new beacon is operating, and so.
Is that what the 4300 was for?
Yes. Yep. So that's complete. I sent the 2 invoices to the state, so we'll be getting back 90% of that bill from the state. So basically everything we do, nearly everything, let me say it that way, is a 90-10, whether it's from the federal government or from the state. So it's all participation from them. Then for next year, for 2018, the things that we have, of course, we need to finish up with the apron job, and that's an ongoing process. We've had some bills for that, and of course, Scott goes through the Delphi drawdown thing and gets 90% of that back. So anyway, that's an ongoing process. The major part of that will be, excuse me, this next spring, March, April, May.
Warms up enough to.
Right, to get in and get that all completed. So that's one thing for 2018 that will be a carryover from 2017. The other thing that we have applied for from the state, and of course, we never know what they're going to accept. So we apply for what we would like to have. They tell us what we can have, then we have a meeting to make sure that all the board is, voted and in favor of doing these items. And then before anything is done, we come to you guys and say, okay, here's what it's going to cost, and get your okay on what we're doing. So, we like handling it that way, but we need to have you, of course, you guys handle the money, and we need to have your okay on everything that we do. So for next year, with the state, we've got the new hangar area with no utilities out there at all. So this may not get accepted next year, which would be June would be the earliest. And when those new hangars are built, we'll have to run them off a generator until gas, electricity, and water are taken to those areas. So we've applied to the state for that. And the other thing, as the runway with its joints, it's filled with crack filling material. It looks like asphalt, but I'm not sure what it is. But that gets hard, it cracks, and to maintain our runway, that's got to be sawed out and reapplied on every joint. So we've applied for that for I think it's called the 2019 year, but it's in 2018.
How long does it last?
About 7 years. That's
It's not something you gotta do every year.
no. And of course, those joints aren't sawed all the way down. They're sawed, I'm going to say a couple inches into the concrete. So it's not like it takes a lot, but it's important to keep that moisture out of there so it doesn't freeze, and then you end up with bigger cracks and so on. So.
It won't be runway.
Yeah, right. We've applied for a gas reader for the gas pump, so that we, transient and off hours and weekends and whatever can get gas with just a credit card, like filling station. And a mower to mow the runways and the grass runways and the areas that need mowed. It's a large area now that we've added on to the runway. The property around it is a big area. So anyway, those are the things we've applied for. Nothing is, nobody said yes to anything, but just want to let you know that's kind of in the works. And that whole group of things, which won't get accepted next year, would be a local funds of about 11.6. So, but we won't worry about that until we find out where we're at.
What happens?
Then for 2019, we've had the 5-year plan, with the FAA, which we're required to fill out and keep a 5-year plan, is the snow removal equipment. So tractor, loader, snow blade, snow broom, the whole gamut of stuff to take care of the runway. And it's called snow removal equipment. It can be used to mow also, but the title is snow removal equipment. So, and that's going to be 2 years down the road, because we won't have FAA funds for that anyway. But we're going to need to keep that in our mind to see, if the county has the budget and the money to participate in the local. It's still a 90-10. It would help with the usage of the tractors that Dave needs for roads and everything else. So, I mean, that's basically what I wanted to do, is to hopefully we can plan for the funds, either yes or no. I mean, you guys will have to tell us, go for it or don't, and we definitely won't do anything without your approval.
Well, we appreciate that, Dave.
Yeah.
There's no concerns here about how you're spending it, so.
Okay, well, we
Do we use county employees to remove snow?
no,
Who does that?
Grace's,
Grace's
Yeah.
do it. That's part of their contract.
right. Yeah, and we've added onto the runway, we got more ramp area, more taxiway, and nothing has changed there, so.
Yeah.
They're spending more and more hours all the time getting things done, but it really keeps the airport nice, it looks nice, it's maintained well, and we're proud of our airport, so.
They do a good job of keeping it mowed up.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So that's all I have, and I appreciate you guys working, with the airport. We try to, manage and do a good job with what we're entrusted to do, and so
No complaints.
sounds good.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
Dave.
thank you.
Okay, Cheyenne County rocks.
Oh, she's here.
Randy Wiley, I don't know who that is.
Dustin Wiley's wife.
Okay. And Jeff is not here yet, so I believe Cody's next.
I knew there was a reason I came early. The first thing, for public safety, if we can go into executive session for 5 minutes, we come out and then we discuss the bids on the building, if that's okay with you guys.
So move.
All those in favor? Aye. So we'll go into executive session for 5 minutes.